where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. Alright, we're back. Alright, let's see what we're going to look at here today. Earthquakes, and more earthquakes. There was a big one the other day. They said it was a 5.9. However, I have seen on forums the possibility that it was as high as a 6.8. Whether or not that is true, I'm not quite for certain. However, there is one viewer who did a posting on a forum that said that they did originally see a 6.8 and then it shortly disappeared after that. I'm not going to doubt that because I've personally seen magnitudes go down myself. I've watched when they've occurred, and I've watched them disappear right off the USGS site right before my eyes. So we know that USGS lies. Unfortunately, another government agency that lies. How about that? You know, it'd be nice one day to actually be able to think of government and truth in the same sentence, but right now we're stuck with government and lies, and when we hear those, we kind of understand that they go hand in hand. Should be the other way around, right? Government and truth, not government lies. But oh well, we're stuck with it, so let's make the best of what we got. Now, yesterday's earthquake did bring up a lot of questions. How did it happen? Why did it happen? What was the extent of the damage? There are reports saying that the Washington Monument is possibly tilting now because of this event, and that there's been different cracks and things found around the city where there was some damage, and they're still checking to find out the extent of this because they're not typically set up for these type of activities out there. They're not set up for earthquakes. But what was the cause of this earthquake? Was it a natural event, or was there something more to it? Well, here's the story. Comes to us from the Cornwallis Free News, and as you can see right here, it says earthquake strikes eastern USA and Canada, goats faint. A rash of earthquakes have been rocking the planet the last 2 days, with many feeling that there's more to come due to solar winds battering the planet. There was a 5.3 Richter scale that hit Colorado and a 5.9 quake that rocked Virginia as far north as Cornwall, Ontario. A 4.4 was reported in Guatemala, a 5.1 in Kashmir, a 4.8 in Japan, 4.6 in Fiji, with others being reported to us as aftershocks. Cell phone service has been reported to be disrupted or acting wonky. Several nuclear power plants in the U.S. were shut down as a precautionary measure. And as a reminder, we have emergency supplies in your homes, canned food, water, and all that. And they said they're going to continue to... So every time we have an earthquake in our area, they have UFO reports. They're going to keep you informed about what that is. But the goat is the strange part here. The goat that collapses. The goat that... what is this here? Alright, we're going to... This isn't actually what we wanted here. The goat was the big thing, my friends. Why do the animals, is it something from the ground? Do they understand there's a vibration, or is there something else going on? Keep this in mind as we go along, because we're going to get to an answer towards the end of all of this. Now, here's a video which is quite interesting. Not quite certain what to make of this. It says the earth is groaning, and this is a sound that supposedly, it says unknown sound phenomena occurring in 2011. I want you to listen to this, see what you think. No, that's not the sound right there, that's just the beginning of the video. Okay, here we go. Says August 11th, 2011, Kiev, Ukraine. Strange humming, groaning sounds have been reported by thousands of panicked residents across the country. The sounds seems to be emanating from beneath the earth, but the origin of the phenomena is still unclear. Seismic readings have indicated no earthquake activity to have taken place. Okay, here comes the sounds. You hear that? Pretty weird, huh? Let's listen. Alright, that's just kind of weird and eerie, don't you think? Now, there's 9 minutes of this on this video right here. If you want to check it out, it's on our daily news for today. But very bizarre indeed. Now, with the earthquakes the other day, there were problems with nuclear reactors. You see, there's a number of nuclear reactors out in the area where all of this took place. This is Michio Kaku, and he's talking about some of the dangers that are faced with this. Listen to.
This is Dr. Michio Kaku who is with us again tonight. Good to see you, Dr. Kaku. Well, you have to go to the backup. That doesn't sound good.
Not good at all. We just dodged the bullet on this one. There are 4 backup pumps. One of them is out. If all 4 go out, then you're on the road to a full-scale meltdown.
Fukushima.
That's what happened in Japan. All the backup pumps went out, batteries went out, then you're dead in the water. And then the core gets exposed.
All right. Now, let me ask you about what I know our viewers on the West Coast are probably thinking, because they go through a lot of quakes, some of them bigger than this. Are they right to say, hey, guys, this is not so big?
There's a difference between West Coast and East Coast earthquakes. The West Coast is very fragmented. Look at this. The fault lines are like this, so when an earthquake fault moves or shifts, the energy is localized. Therefore, the damage is concentrated.
So one shifts, but not everything shifts.
That's right. The energy is localized.
You were saying on the East Coast.
Right. We have the North American plate, and so it rocks as one unit. And so energy is scattered all the way to Canada, for example.
And you well, I was going to say, you were telling me earlier that it's a wake-up call for the East Coast that we are not immune.
That's right. We have to prepare our building codes for the once-in-the-century earthquake. We are not prepared at all. Our buildings don't sway like those in California and Japan. Our buildings would collapse if we had a major earthquake in Manhattan. And realize that Indian Point can only withstand a 6.0 earthquake, and that's a nuclear power plant north of New York City.
All right, so wise words. See, Michio's okay as long as he's not talking gibberish about aliens coming down to attack. Then I think that, you know, that's all right. We can listen to what he says. All right. Now, before the earthquake, this is the skies above it. Now, little by little, I'm moving closer to our final topic point here. But I want you to see all this little pre-evidence first, right? This is the skies over Virginia before the earthquake. And as you're going to see, there's some strange patterns. Now, this is caught on the webcams, and it's going to be moving quite fast. But just watch some of and look at some of these cloud patterns that are taking place. Some of these very much looking like chemtrails. And there's definitely, you know, an interesting pattern to the clouds and the lines in the sky. All right. All right. So I think you get the point there. Strangeness in the sky. with the clouds and what people were seeing out there. This was all caught on the webcam, so let's see if I can zip forward just one more. Okay. Alright, so now we got these reports, strange stuff in the skies beforehand. Alright, now we're going to jump over to this story here. 2 nuclear reactors taken offline after earthquake in Virginia. 2 nuclear reactors were taken offline at the North Anna Power Station due to the earthquakes in Virginia. Federal officials say 2 nuclear reactors at the North Anna Power Station, Louisa County, Virginia, were automatically taken off by safety systems around the time of the earthquake. The Dominion-operated power plant is being run off of 4 emergency diesel generators which are supplying power for critical safety equipment. Whether or not they were damaged and releasing radiation is unknown at this time, but unfortunately we will most likely never know, considering the fact that all major nuclear disasters have been covered up worldwide. Then Anna Rhett Miller, reporter for CNN, has tweeted the following. NCR confirms Dominion's North Anna plant has been lost. Off-site power is shut down and is now using backup generators to keep spent fuel cool. Alright, I want you to keep this in mind. And we're going to now go to our next story, which talks about 1 of 4 backup generators cooling nuclear power plant shut down by Virginia Quake Falls. This is Alexander Higgins at the Intel Hub. Says the NRC is now reporting that 1 of 4 backup generators powering the North Anna nuclear power plant has failed after the 5.9 Virginia earthquake. There has been a series of unusual events at nuclear power plants across the nation, from North Carolina and Virginia, following today's 5.9 earthquake that struck with epicenter near Mineral, Virginia's North Anna nuclear power plant. The earthquake caused power outage at the North Anna's plant, which forced workers to shut down the reactors and switch to emergency backup generators. While the NRC supposedly tested and certified the safety and functionality of the nuclear plant following the Fukushima nuclear meltdown, the NRC is now reporting that 1 of the backup generators at the plant failed just moments after being started. And you can see here some of this stuff here. 2 unusual events taken offline, declare unusual events. You had media silent on fate of the Anna nuclear plant. Okay. Now, I had read one posting, I couldn't find it this morning, but yesterday I found a posting that talked about 12 nuclear plants that had to shut down within the area. Now, you notice a pattern? Every time that there's been these earthquakes, we're dealing with these nuclear problems. Seems to be an issue. Was it not well thought out at the beginning, or is this part of the agenda that's supposed to be going on during these times? Is the world killing itself because of those who felt that they needed to have the nuclear power and yet don't know how to handle it? Is that part of the problem? Could be. Now, here we go. Now we're getting closer to the answer here. HAARP. HAARP. I'm going to play part of this. It's a 10-minute long video. I'm only going to play a part of it for you. But the HAARP project is something that we should take a look at, because DutchSense and others online have pointed out anomalies in the radar, such as circles, squares, and triangles, shapes that are not normal to the weather patterns. And when it is deciphered the origins or the center point of these areas, there's usually a big storm that takes place, and there's been a lot of really great analysis online about these things to point to the fact that there is something more than meets the eye with all of these. It's not just normal. It's not just normal weather patterns that's going on. Someone's manipulating the weather. Did they manipulate the weather over the area of the eastern United States? It's a possibility. Who would have done this? I don't know. It is a possibility, something in these days we need to consider. I want you to watch this video. I'll be back momentarily.
HAARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, and is described as a research instrument for studying the ionosphere. An ionospheric heater, or ionospheric radiation instrument, IRI, of which many exist, but HAARP is special. The ability to focus energy and the unprecedented amount in gigawatts, billions of watts, make it literally millions of times more effective at heating the region about 150 miles above the Earth's surface.